And are we all the way live? It's all the way live.
We should be going live on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube. We're all good to go. We're live everywhere.
Sweet. What is up, everybody? How you doing? I know you might not remember the scruffy dude from, across the screen. My name is Prophet. This is the Berkeley Poetry Slam. And if I am mistaken, it is the blackest month of the year because it is the Black, History Month that even though it's so short, we make every single day of it impactful. And the way we're going to make it impactful today is with a fantastic ass slam and a dope ass feature. But before I talk about that, let me talk about how we get this thing going and how we get this show on the road with the support that we get from viewers like you. So today's show is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Over the last year, these monthly donors have been holding it down and ensuring that we're able to artistically and financially support the poets, the artists, the educators, and everybody else that we bring on our virtual stages. None of this would be possible or sustainable without your support. So thank you to our patrons, in particular, Alice Nami, Melody Montgomery, Stephanie Yaboa, Renee Edmonds, Emily Child, Kayla Lilly, and we just really want to thank you for risking it for the biscuit, sorry. You tangoed for the mango, and we appreciate you. Thank you to Jessica Kozachick for sponsoring one of our weekly workshops, our weekly writing workshops, and special thanks, and if we have your consent, a huge hug to Alice Grimm and Rebecca Abram for pledging $100 a month in support of our venue, the Allen Bluford Center. Our average donation is $11 a month. That means that for less than the price of a Netflix subscription, you can support a global literary arts and performing arts movement. If you enjoy what you are seeing or just love the arts or believe in reparations and the liberation of the third world peoples or the global south, head over to patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. Rich, like the opposite of what I am. Oak, like the tree. Events, like fun stuff to go to. Patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. Or donate to us via Cash App, hashtag Rich Oak Events, or Venmo at Rich Oak Slam. Thank you for your support, and now on with the show. So, where do I begin? Because, man, today's show is going to be pretty damn fun. I guess I'll start with the rules, because the slam isn't really a slam if we have some rules. So poets, you have 3 minutes to share whatever you like with a 10-second grace period. Points are going to be deducted after that grace period, and at 4 minutes, you will be muted. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun at all when you get muted. And then points that you're going to be deducted, though, ay caramba. So there are no props, no musical accompaniment, no costumes. And also no nudity. Top 5 poets move on to round 2. And I guess the thing that makes Berkeley Slam different than most slams is this ancestral gaslighting-y type thing that we call word of the day. And today's word of the day is probably among the weirdest, most obscure ones I've ever seen. It is obsequious. Obsequious is an adjective that means marked by or showing a fawning attentiveness, too eager to help or obey someone important. Use the word successfully, gain an extra point. Obsequious. So use that word any way you want to, as long as it makes sense and you ain't cheating. You good. Judges, you are judging from a scale of 0.0 to 10.0. A 0.0 is like your car catches a flat, then you find out that one of your best friends got into a really bad car accident. Like before you can even call to get the flat fixed, you get bad news about one of the people you love the most. And then after you get off that phone call, you get another phone call that informs you that you just lost your job. And now like you're gonna like not have any idea how you're gonna pay your rent before the 5th. And yeah, that's a 0.0. A 10 is like Jesus turning water into Hennessy. It's like, you know, you finally get to have a conversation with your biggest crush in life, and then you find out all along that your crush liked you even more than you liked them, but they were just shy about it. So that's like a 10. Not going to be a whole lot of zeros, not going to be a whole lot of 10s. And the last person that has rules is going to be the audience. Audience, yes, I know. I'm an asshole for even thinking I can tell you what to do in your house. But yes, I'm about to tell you what to do in your house. So please like, share, and subscribe to our IG and Twitter at Berkeley Slam and our Facebook at Berkeley Poetry Slam. Comment on the feed. Let the poets know how much you love what they have to say. Be way more enthusiastic than you would be at a slam in person. But freedom of speech is not the same as freedom from accountability. And what that means is if you say something hella out of pocket, somebody, either a random stranger from the audience or one of the poets or one of the organizers is gonna have something to say about what you had to say. So, you know, try to keep it respectful, and I'm sure people will respond in kind. And now that I've gotten that out the way, the whole point of this show is for y'all not to hear me talk, but for y'all to hear everybody that's about to speak next. And since the judges are about to get their calibration poet, their sacrificial lamb of sorts, to get them started for the show, I don't think we worked out who's going to be the sacrifice today. So fuck it, I'll spit something.
Did you already go over the list? Who's on the
Huh?
list? Did you already say who's on the list?
Oh, I did not say who's on the list. So on the list today is going to be Colin Edmonds. Make some noise, make some noise. Woo! Okay, I'll accept that. You know, it's early in the show. Y'all got a lot more yelling to do. Next is Nicole Tracy.
Woo!
Woo! Then my Esperanza Cabrales.
Woo!
Silva.
Woo!
And Kelsey Daniels.
Woo! Yeah.
I told y'all today's list was gonna be pretty damn dope. And
Stop it. I don't think that's the randomized list.
ooh, dang, we did not randomize before we started the show.
No, we did. You just weren't in the room, and I forgot to post the right thing on the thing. But that is the list of poets who are reading tonight.
Yes, that is the list of poets who are reading tonight, just not in that order. And I will announce who all is in the going to be in the correct order later. I also want to tell y'all a little bit about who is featuring today, because KB Brookins is a incredible writer and an incredible Black poet that I am so looking forward to hearing the work of, and their work that I have read so far was like incredible. But it's different hearing it in like my voice in my head. Like it's gonna be really dope to hear their words and their voice, and I'm super excited, and I know you're going to be pretty damn stoked to see it too.
List for you.
Perfect. We have the updated list. So the updated list looks like a complete flip of the wrong list, which so the correct list is Kelsey Daniels.
Woo!
Then mine. Then Nicole Tracy.
Woo!
Silva.
Woo!
Then Esperanza
Gang,
Cabrales.
gang.
Then Colin, who is
Woo!
listed as Collins here, but is not with an S. So awesome. Well, I guess to get us started, I'm gonna go ahead and get this sacrificial lambness going. I'm feeling bad to the bone. So give it up for your sacrificial poet, Prophet.
Woo!
The gentrification of Richmond's impatiently waiting to get us debating our place in it, facing eviction from basis and racist intentions, replacing the tenants. The rates so ridiculous. Pay these outrageously plaintiff expenses or vacants debate at a place where you stay. We split with no wages or representation that give us a way to live in the bay. Prayers for those who believe it, but not on these streets where the heathens are bleeding, deceased from a beef that precedes them, policing that beats them to weaknesses weeded. All hope is fleeting. My city has pride with a purpose. It's highly deserted from nightly disturbance. Nobody to service. Our lives have been worthless because violence is surging. Dire, surviving the gutter with urgency, hustling for currency, earning G's daily. It's crazy. The same hood that loved me and made me can hate me and one day might murder me. In first degree, certainly, I suffered through the toughest of trouble, maladjusted youth. I've seen fiends with scuffed up shoes, pumping fumes of drugs and booze, but hard times and struggle got a funny way of humbling you. With the crime rate wave, one time on parade, daily through all the blocks you was raised in. Gotta find your way, cause they lying in wait, decaying on this grindstone pavement. Never let them take your mind, keep your heart light through all of the fire and dark nights. Though the ghetto's a hell of a hard life, and nobody acknowledges our plight on corners with niggas that turned into savages. So informed by significant poverty's damages, look at the images. Cities are ravaged through feds are sick and sadistic, they bust when they capture you. The road to survival is a hassle that tackles you. So we find hope in religious figures that shackle you. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Fighting death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle. Revolution is imminent, struggle in bundles. Fighting death and imprisonment, walk through the jungle. I come from a slum that was almost defeated. The wicked I've witnessed, you'd hardly believe it. A cycle where death is more constant than rain. By the way, shout to spray the Lord, come in today. Why did the bank take my house away? Work 3 jobs to stay, but rent high in the base. See my fam full of pimps, pushers and preachers, hustlers out grinding, panthers and teachers, working so hard. The clockings are bleeding, had hella friends, but so few call me when needed. Was homeless, I struggled alone in the jungle, roaming the stone where most others would crumble. I rose to be humbled, my throne is the rubble. My home is with those that chose to be troubled with holding me up. I owe them eternally much. I know I can trust the show. I was raised on blocks hot with game. I've seen Glocks cocked and aimed, body shot and left dropped in flames near a nocturnal train, blood-stained tears, cops and chains. Somebody is discarding charring remains, felonious monks, holding a pump. My community's molding to dust. It's hopeless as fuck, because most of us stuck in most potent of ruts. Tell me why my whole block is writhing in pain. It's not gonna change. My cousin was shot in the brain. 3 years later, my brother psychotically slain. A block from my cousin insane. It's the logic of fate. Justice does not come in play, and it never did, not to this day, so my mama ain't safe. I'm psychologically scathed. How do I plot an escape from these corners with menaces turned into savages? Thank you. Give it up for the sacrificial poet, Prophet. First blood, first blood. Thank you. Judges, this is the longest I'm going to give you for, being judgy as hell, being all judgmental and putting points to poems and shit. I really appreciate y'all doing this hard job, but we might be talking a little bit of shit about you tonight, depending, nah, do your thing. But please do send your scores in to our awesome scorekeeper, Alexis, in a timely fashion, just to keep things going well. And by the way, when I say you are in the hole, that means you are going to be the third to touch the stage. If I say you are on deck, that means you are not about to touch the stage right now, but you're going to be next after the person who's coming up right now. And if I say being born on the stage, that means you're coming up right now. So in the hole is Nicole Tracy. On deck is Mai. And starting our slam, the first slam of the blackest month of the year, please give it up for Kelsey Daniel.
Woo! Woo!
Woo!
So when I was in 5th grade, I was standing outside my classroom and this boy that I had the biggest crush on decided to come and talk to me loudly. He decided this would be the perfect time to point out my big ass belly. How it's much larger than my breast, except for he used the word breast because he was only in 5th grade, but his comedic timing was well beyond his years. The whole class erupted. They laughed and he laughed. And if I were white, I probably would have turned cherry red. Instead, I tried to turn wall. I inched ridiculously close to it, thinking if I perpetrated hard enough, eventually the structure would have to accept me as one of its own. I'd be relieved of the burden of being seen. I'd be free of the reality of having to be here. I guess this is the start of my obsession with slipping into oblivion. Nowadays, oh, you're gonna know that a bitch is here and worth the seeing, the skin, to not come with an instruction manual on how to love its contents, and I'm doing all right. I'm no longer an accomplice from those unable to see my light. I'm getting used to life in this here reality, and won't you celebrate with me this luscious ass stomach that mimics jello whenever I let out a raucous chuckle. My giggle has a way of giving away my presence, much like my present form. I'm not really hard to miss, and ain't none of me hard to love. Choosing myself isn't always easy. You can't self-esteem out of fat phobia into making doctors believe you're actually in pain and having employers honor your access needs. This world has chosen a contentious relationship with my body, but I have chosen to revoke consent message. It is illegal to shout fire in a crowded room. There is none, but I have a secret. It is not unlawful to be fire when you just are. So I have decided to just blaze, just be, exist unapologetically, allow the present and my presence to be fully received because baby, I ain't got no muffin top. I'm the whole damn cake. How God it is to see abundance where others find void, to call this body good, even if it's not observable to others. I call myself all. I name myself everything. I make a practice of celebrating baby Kelsey and her big ass belly for the lasting. Self-love isn't the only answer, but it is still mine to reclaim. And how sweet it is to be loved by me. My best self is loud, mouth wide open, and laughter spilling out like secrets that refuse to be hidden any longer. My best self is belly puffed, unashamed of its jiggly ass existence. My best self is living and loving this moment right now, offering grace and denying shame to the thoughts that still try to convince me that I don't deserve to be here. I remember that I was never meant to be a decorative wallflower. I was always the mural. I am already here, and I finally see me.
Give it.
Let's go.
Woo! Woo! Damn. Whew. So, thank you for starting off the slam with that poem.
Gang.
For those of you who consider yourselves to be of a creative mind and aren't always able to get over writer's block, I just want to shout out our workshop, our writing workshop that we do at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Daylight Time, I would guess. Essentially, some of the poems that you have heard in previous slams have been written in the writing workshop, and it's a great way to get the creative juices flowing. If you write comedy, if you are an author, some of these writing prompts do translate into other creative mediums. So please check us out. We post our Zoom meeting ID for the writing workshop every time we post promotional materials for each show. So please check us out at Berkeley Slam on Instagram so that you could see our writing workshops every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And now that I have gotten my shameless plug out of the way, I want to say that Silva is in the hole, Nicole Tracy is on deck, and coming up to the stage now, not now, but right now, please give it up for my...
Woo!
Gang.
Can y'all hear me okay?
We hear you.
The last time they called me slur was not the last time they told me I wasn't oppressed. And the first time they called me a sinner was my last prayer. That prayer never ended though. That prayer spits helplessness or death. Every time I say hello is a time I am not ready to say goodbye. I only say goodnight or hello again. Can't risk my goodbye being taken as a death wish / sentence, but I already wear my straight jacket, just waiting for the chains to tighten around these wrists. Hands still clasped in prayer. I used to have chain necklaces. These days, the noose is the only thing I have left to adorn my chest with. I dream in prayer and wake dressed in queer and wait to be put out or to sleep. This body only rests at 4:26 in the night or morning. I'm waiting for this body to caress these sheets, claim bed to be home or casket. I embody a God only known to those who don't believe in her, a funeral only known to those who thought it was their own. I am the envies who cry from their graves. The last time I was called a whore was the first time I flashed tits at the sound of the word. Also the first time my life flashed before my eyes, but not the last. The first time I was called a loving person was not the last time that blindly was put in front of it. This obsequious vessel plays with love while mine plays with the devil, but aren't those the same things for a queer bitch? So I pray to feel like a girl again, wondering when I will get a second chance at womanhood, like maybe if a God could give me the will to pretend. I could do better this time. I'll do better this time, I promise. I think the prayer I started 5 centuries ago for the queer bitch that I am came about 2 days after the splitting of the seas, or lungs, or bottle, or eye sockets, or everything that holds salt water when it shouldn't. These days, the only thing left to cry is blood, sweat, and tears, so I walk home. Still chained and noose decorated, still full of salt water and never saying goodbye, still a body full of forgiveness, but none is due. Thank you.
Woo!
Robert.
What's up? Thank you so much for sharing that poem. Judges, please be swift. Please be quick when it comes to giving your scores in. I am still getting some of the scores. I was actually in the process of trying to find them in the Zoom chat, but I will have them next time you see my ugly mug. But yeah, well, since I guess you can see my ugly mug, I might as well do a little bit more plugging. I'm not a drug dealer, but I figure I could do a little bit of plugging. So I will say, if you are watching us on Facebook or Twitter, or I guess IG is down right now, please subscribe to Bay Poets Unite on YouTube. It is another way for you to keep tabs on all the great shows and listen to all the great poets that come to bless our stage. And we are at about 200, almost 300 subscribers now. With your subscription, we will topple the 300 subscriber mark by the end of the slam, and that would be amazing. So please, please do rush to subscribe to Bay Poets Unite on YouTube. And by the way, Esperanza Cabrales is in the hole. On deck is Silva. And coming up to the stage right now to bless our eardrums and eyelids is Nicole Tracy.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah! Let's go!
Woo!
Mic check.
We can hear you.
Unsolicited advice on how to tell your partner you have been through hell. You can't forget to breathe. Exhaling is a part of breathing. You are allowed to stay or leave based on their reactions. If they ask if they can hold your hand, stay. If they need tissues as you cry, stay. Know that this is the love you deserve but didn't get from someone else. If they give a long, sympathy-filled apology, look at you with pity, and you shrink, exhale, don't regret telling them, but leave. If they ask for someone left bruises and they leave new ones, don't marvel at the color your arm changed, exhale and leave them. If they ask what you did to provoke them, do not answer them, leave them, exhale. If they are jealous, all of your poems are about someone who hurt you, Smirk. Tell them they are in a poem now. Do not stay for the material. Leave them. Be proud of yourself for recognizing signs of an unhealthy relationship. Be proud of yourself for being brave enough to leave. Know that it is not easy, but it is the right decision. Doing what is best for you is not selfish. Do not blame yourself. You should not have known better. No parent gives you a guide on leaving an abusive partner. No one warns you his obsequious behavior was just a manipulation. You learn as you go, you grow, you breathe, you exhale, you move forward. It is okay to have complicated feelings about the past. It is okay to smile about your first date. Remember why you were happy with him for a while. There is, you know, it was not all bad. They are not an all bad person. There is no excuse for hurting someone they claim to have loved. No number of good dates makes up for the pain you still feel. Some days it hurts more than others. Remember, it is not your fault. It never was and it never will be. Inhale, exhale, and try and be the best thing for yourself today. Write without knowing where it will go, but knowing you will feel better at the end of it. Inhale, exhale. Remember, you're safe in your writing. You are safe here now.
Woo! Give it up for Nicole. Give it up for Nicole. Woo! Damn. Thank you so much for sharing that poem. Our sacrifice got a 27.4. Give it up for the poet. Woo!
Fuck that score.
Let's go, poet.
Thank you for giving up for the sack. Our first poet of the first round got a 28.5. Give it up for the poet. Woo!
Woo!
All right, all right. So, in the hole is Colin. On deck is Esperanza Cabrales. And coming up to the stage right now is Silva.
Woo!
Oh. Hold on, I gotta find you first, Silva. Give me 1 second.
Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep.
Sweet. You tell me a 1 month anniversary is important to you. So I call our diner in advance and tell them to make it special. To cut your waffle into hearts and arrange it on your plate like a 4-leaf clover. To make sure your banana is cut into 12 equal pieces and that the edges of each slice are perfectly perpendicular to your plate. I'll watch your face when they bring it out. I'll wait for you to smile, to say thank you, to talk to me instead of writing it all in your journal. I'll wait for you to come back from the bathroom when you decide you're not keeping that down either. I wait. For 3 years, I wait. Our first fight is later that day. My dinner isn't enough. You throw your plate across the kitchen. You tell me it's triggering for you to watch me starve myself. I tell you I'm doing the best that I can. You stomp into the bathroom and slam the door. When you come out, I see 12 equal slits, each one perfectly perpendicular to your wrist. I hug you and apologize. Tell you that I will do better so that you can get better. I wait for you to get better. Slept on the hospital floor 4 nights a week while you send me to get you binge food you pretend to keep down as if I haven't spent more nights studying your binge orders than I did for my midterm exams. Your 2 pretzel bagels, double toasted, double cream cheese, lettuce, tomato, 2 extra large, double doubles, double cups. So you have one to purge into. I tell you after 5 trips, I can't go back out again. That I am too tired. Your hands become rakes, scraping the skin off your face until I see blood. I rush to your side, try to pull them away, cry, apologize, plead with you to stop. You stay silent and keep scratching until I go back out again. So I do. Your way again. Every time you're hooked up to that IV, it is my life dripping into your veins, waiting for you to keep something down, to ask me if I've eaten, to notice that I haven't, waiting for your OCD to tell you that you and I need balance since everything has to be so goddamn even. But I've been bending over backwards for so long I can no longer stand up for myself. completely obsequious. Does my life matter to you at all? Don't you care that every breath that I breathe feels stolen? I hate myself for nourishing a body that doesn't deserve it. You make yourself sicker and sadder and more vulnerable, so I will always come to your rescue. But what about when I needed saving? I got placed on academic suspension. Feeling suicidal, you threw me out of your room by my neck. I waited on the floor watching you go from kitchen to bedroom to bathroom on repeat. I waited on repeat until 4 a.m. for an apology, a hug, something, anything that would prove that I might be worth more than your disorder, but I'm just another disorder to you. You consume me to get rid of me. Binging me, purging me, pulling me in just to push me away, just to put me away like the jars of vomit on our bedside table during our final fight. You throw a mug at the mirror. The floor becomes a minefield of shattered glass, exposing me to something I have not seen since I met you, my reflection. I will apologize to myself for what I let you put me through. I will not make myself sicker just to feel worthy of healing. My healing matters to me more than yours does, but this is not about you, and I refuse to allow myself to be ever again. I am what I've been waiting for.
Woo! Give it up. Give it up for Silva.
Oh.
We could give it up a little bit better than that. The cat doesn't approve.
Woo!
Okay. Okay. Now the cat is starting to approve. What's up, Hobbs? Say hello, Berkeley Slam.
Hey,
I guess he's a little bit shy today. This is the ferocious tiger, Hobbs. So Nicole Tracy received a 29.1. Give it up for the poet.
Let's go, poet!
Woo! All right. So in the hole is our incredible feature, KB Brookins. On deck is Colin. And coming up to the stage right now, not now, but right now. Who's coming up? Who's coming up, Hobbs? He says, Esperanza Cabrales. Woo!
Mic check.
We hear you.
Good.
When will I feel ready to grow up? When will I feel ready to try at motherhood, to take these mismatched ovaries and create? Not art, not music, not words that flow or ideas that don't, but a child, a being, a seed that grows with fertile soil, takes root from love or an idea, becomes its own living organism, remains when its origin is gone. A life when I have struggled with my own. I have asked my parents why they decided to become parents, why they decided, felt able or worthy or willing and wanting to make 1 + 1 = 3, then another, me, the youngest of 2. I became an aunt at the age of 10. And ironically, that is also how many years apart my brother and I are. I was told that my birth was a miracle. A struggle, a labor that lasted close to 24 hours, a rainbow child after a miscarriage, one where my mom's heartbeat paused for a scarily long time, resumed beating. Years later, I was born at the turn of a new century, Y2K, a worry when I was conceived. I'm young. My age is the last 2 numbers of the year. My last job was working with seniors who have lived my lifetime 5 times over, who were young once too, that grew up in a different world where things were different. Wars, the Depression, presidents great and regal, propping up these national ideals, my seniors. Pressed shirts, softly wrinkled skin, weighed down with memories that would escape them like dandelions, flying away on a stray breeze. If I learned anything from them, obsequious as I tried my best to be, it is that history will not ask you how you feel. History will happen and you will too. So maybe it doesn't help to think about the kind of world I would bring a child into. or even the context of my age on this page. What kind of environment allows ovaries to work? Mine came with a factory defect, a hormonal endocrinological issue that is chronic. There is no cure. PCOS is a thing I cling to. The answer I tell when asked what my issue is. I get mood swings, cravings, anxiety, depression. I'm at higher risk for a lot of terrible things. It is this absence in me, this void where a period should be, this lack I feel when I think of my femininity. It became part of my identity, and I don't know who I am with or without it. It is the reason I'm scared to diet, because I'm at a higher risk for eating disorders, but also have a harder time losing weight. Easier to eat my emotions than drown in them. If I think of having a child, I must also think of this possible chance, this small, terrifying whisper that I might not be capable of it. So instead, I think of blood, of having a period, of the hair I have worked on that can be fixed so easily through care and products, wash days 2 to 3 times a week, and I teach myself to braid, keeping this small hope that I could one day braid my own daughter's hair and not fall into the despair that she might never exist. Or if she does, then she could have PCOS too.
Give it up for the poet. You can send in your scores as soon as you can. Give it up for the poet. So, I hate the concept of time. It's not a very like poetic, like creative concept at all. You know, like 5 minutes is 5 minutes. You know, only poets can turn 5 minutes into 15 minutes. So I'm only saying this because Silva got a time penalty, which resulted in them getting a score of 26.6. Please give it up.
But we love the poet. But we fucking love the poet.
Boo time.
Let's go, poet.
Woo! Man, that's what I'm talking about. So, on deck, we have our incredible feature for tonight. And to end the first round of tonight's slam, please give it up for Colin.
Woo! Let's go, Colin.
Woo! Woo!
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
New shit.
No shit.
Okay.
You can find the good news tattooed in the stucco of every home. Find gospel in candle wax spilling over the sidewalk. I see God in every roadside vigil. Every balloon sent up to the sky, an obsequious prayer to apathetic God that maybe, just maybe, Big D was good enough for the Lazarus treatment. That maybe the whole hood is worth a resurrection. Too many good folks dying in these streets for it just to be God's retribution. So I have to believe that all my niggas are in a better place. That all my niggas were crucified like saviors and not like thieves, that they died like Jesus. That there will be a second coming of gold chains and fake designer belts, the return of the Mac before Mac 10s burned down the block. I have to believe that every single chalk outline was a miracle. Bullet and blood payment for safe passage to the promised land. Everyone in this neighborhood is a pastor, handing out holy hollow point to anyone who wants to meet the spirit. They're not killers, but shepherds, guiding the flock into the light. The sun don't shine in the ghetto or a casket. So heaven must be our first sunrise.
Woo!
Woo! Give it up for the poet again. Give it up for everybody that touched the stage in the first round. Give it up for everybody that touched the stage in the first round. Give it up for Kelsey, Mai, Nicole, Silva, Esperanza, and Colin.
Woo! Let's go, poet.
Sweet, sweet. So, the previous poet Esperanza received a 27.1 due to a time penalty. Everybody say fuck linear time.
Ooh, fuck linear time, bro. What the
linear
fuck?
Linear time.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. All
But
right.
who's the poet? Woo!
So now, oh, it looks like Colin received a 29. Give it up for the poet. Woo! Woo! All right.
Woo!
We got a whole feature and a whole second round, so I'm gonna let y'all conserve a little bit of y'all energy, but y'all better keep that energy going throughout the night, dang it. Speaking of the feature, I am so honored to be able to introduce this awesome individual to the stage. Who is this awesome individual I'm talking about? I am talking about KB Brookins, also known as KB. They are a Black, queer, transmasculine poet, essayist, activist, and culture worker from Stop 6, Fort Worth, Texas. Their poems are published or forthcoming in American Poetry Review, Electric Literature, Cincinnati Review, and other places. Their essays are published in Teen Vogue, Autostraddle, Blavity. KB is the author of How to Identify Yourself with a Wound, Kallisto Gaia Press 2022, selected by ire'ne Laura Silva as winner of the 2021 Saguaro Poetry Prize. KB has received Pushcart Prize and Best of the Net nominations, along with the support from PEN nominations. Along with the support from PEN America, Lambda Literary, The Watering Hole, the African American Leadership Institute, Austin, among others. I'm not done. This is a dope ass fucking bio. Their cultural work spanned 6 years. In that time, KB founded and led 2 nonprofits, Interfaces and Embrace Austin. They have also contributed to many initiatives such as Austin's first LGBTQIA plus quality of life survey and inclusion of chosen names on the University of Texas at Austin diplomas. Currently, they are project lead for Winter Storm Project, an arts anthology inspired by the 2021 Texas winter storm. Yeah, that was a hell of a storm, yo. I love all the work you do, and I haven't even finished reading all the work you do. So let me finish. KB's debut full-length poetry collection, Freedom House, is forthcoming on Deep Vellum in 2023. Currently, they are an artivism fellow with Broadway Advocacy Coalition. Follow them on Twitter/Instagram/TikTok at Earth to KB and upgrade to their sporadic opinions and updates through their newsletter Out of This World. They live in Austin, Texas, where they are working on new projects and trying their best. Whew. I'm gonna let that breathe because the bio is dope, but it ain't as dope as the person. So please give it up for KB Brookins. Woo!
Dog, I honestly should have just gave you my 2-sentence bio. I'm like, damn, who is that? Also I write poems about sex and ridiculous stuff. So reading my bio, you think I'm all academic. No, I'm not. But it's so cool to be reading from this book today for the first time ever. Yeah, I'm KB. My book just dropped yesterday, which is why I got this new book Glow on me right now. All the things. But I'm gonna read y'all a couple poems, and we'll see what happens from there. First one is about my hometown, and it's called Greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. I wanna love this city. The street I grew up on where 3 men brown as church pews roll in dirt as cops suffocate their wistful wrists. Dogs sniffing through the newly built house that's since been boarded up. The corner store, where Raimi and Stahl cut meat. Where I first smoked weed with a young boy in orange shoes who now rocks an orange jumpsuit. The brown sauce smothered pork chops and stormy Mondays that fill your tummy till you feel a kind of heaven. I want this city to be loved for downtown and Eastwood equally. When I went to university up the street, they told me not to drive past the train tracks because it's sketchy over there. Like being thrust into whiteness isn't sketchy enough. Like wax dripping candles at Dunbar High vigils aren't just as pretty as the Christmas parade of lights on 7th Street. I hate to love this city. Where the stop sign on Berry has 6 painted under stop, so you know what hood it is. Where I first felt love, like true love, breathing on the side of my neck on the littest of school nights from a boy who these days pushes daisies. Damn, I love this city. If you lay on the wood in Rusted Nail where Southside and the burbs meet, you'll hear church ladies humming. Thank you. Cool. It's so weird to like know how things are going on. I appreciate that. I am going to read another poem for you. All of these being in my book. If you like 2 out of 4 poems, you like enough to buy this book. Okay, I'm like putting it out there like Oprah with them cars, man. Like I need to sell it, right? But this one is about Frank Ocean, who I love. I have a lot of Frank Ocean poems. This is the one that made it to the book. It's called Self-Portrait as Frank Ocean, Song About Drugs. And it's after the song Solo by Frank Ocean. Hand me a towel, I'm dirty dancing with Gina's pink butted tongue until she lets out a moan almost loud enough for someone to hear. I've been a connoisseur of unout women. Now that I think about it, the ones with daddy issues, unstable self-images, and blunts dipped in promethazine. We smoke gas in the back of Jay's pickup and you become a gap-toothed god before my eyes. You talk at length about how you want to try tabs. I tune out at what I've come to call my high of choice, destruction of my own expectations mixed with the need to write about women who only see me with a devil's sickle resting on their left shoulder. We proceed to make out in the cramped back seat. You lose your jacket, hit a solo to a faint falsetto, dig your nails in my newly naptain braids, and I scream in agreement, I deserve this hell on earth. By now, I thought I'd be done with for now infatuations, yet I hold this lighter to my mouth and set fire to the thought, long enough for us to burn, long enough to let the O's and solos through, long enough to see myself in the mirror of your eyes and speak to God directly. Thank you. I hate gentrification. And this is a poem about it. Who among us is not living in a gentrified city right now? Mine is Austin, Texas. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Coffee shop, bike lane, yoga studio, dog park. You walk into HEB and are the only Black person. You heard this story, right? The big twist is that they the only store with the House of Sang peanut sauce. So you roll your basket to the ethnic spices aisle. One wheel touches white man's heel. You say sorry. He hears sinner. Juice shop, Whole Foods, construction sign. White girl says this new bar doesn't attract all the weird locals. You immediately think of college. White girl said your side of town is sketchy and that didn't end well, so you get your drink and leave, draped in all your transplant guilt. Are you the gentrifier or the weird local? You share the area code of one in the face of the other. Vintage shop, pop up, help wanted. Can one suffocate from overwhelming whiteness? You Google this before bed. White girl at the feminist bookstore you work at wears a pussy hat, says hola to your Latinx friend, says what's up after saying hello to everyone else. Despite the bad lighting, you see the gleam of good intentions in her eyes. You say nothing, softly back. corporate headquarters, fake trees, order maintenance. You try not to get all shamed when 50 Cent comes on in the club. You wonder if leaving everything behind in your hometown was for this. White man gets in the middle of your dance circle and you turn. Eventually, everyone turns. Eventually, he tries to handshake. You offer a dap instead. You wonder if keep blank weird is a typo. You drink margs at a brunch in the business they call city. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Blank percent rent increase. Blank school closed due to lack of enrollment for sale. Contact realtor. Thank you.
Woo! Woo!
Appreciate that. Zoom audience love it. I got like two poems left and then I'm out. This one's called Break Up With Your Gender on Board. I was listening to Ariana Grande one day and I was also watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like back when Real Housewives was like the OG cast. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Break up with your gender on board. We could start this letter with the audacity. How you ignore the growth of flesh on your chest and how the sight of them brings you to tears like candy in seasons 2 through 11. How they carry the world like Kenya Moore carried season 8 of Real Housewives, and how I hate them just as much as everyone hates Kenya for what she did to Phaedra. How they sway in your cerebrum and you get nauseous with shame. How undiligence leads to ignorance. You back, stressed from sleeping in binders for 3 days in a row. It's time. Break up with your gender like Nene broke up with Greg until he got his shit together in season 5. What if top surgery changes nothing? What if the nipples don't heal properly? What will become of you then? Loyalty is not gender's language. Like it isn't the language of Nene seasons 1 through 12. I want more for you. I want more for love. This has never been it. After this, you'll be free like Phaedra from her season 10 contract. You won't have to breathe and feel everything tonight. You'll feel nothing. And nothing is the true meaning of gender, isn't it? Oh, that's that poem.
Gang, 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 gang.
Very silly niche poem, only for people that like also watch Real Housewives, I think. But I will leave y'all with this poem, which is part of a series called How to Identify Yourself with a Wound. I'm sorry, it's the book title because it's like 7 of the poems in this book. So this one is gonna be my last one. Thank y'all so much for having me. All the socials, follow me on them. I'd love to chat more about poems. Yeah, let's do this. How to Identify Yourself with a Wound, year 2012. This was the day everyone found out I can't fight. Her friend yelled, "World star," and a punch flew across my face like an inchworm, mistaking my freckled skin for trees. I did my 1s and 2s, but the camera made it look like slaps and hair pulling. What can I say? I grew up in an age where 6 seconds can make you famous. I remember thinking mid-shove, why are we throwing bowls again? Is it the last time she called me a dyke, or the time I got in school suspension because she wanted to be a snitch and show who's cool in this equation to her friends? Or is it life that's got us tussling outside a playground and dim lighting at 7 a.m.? Too close to under-resourced streetlights and dreams deferred, I saw her biting into my arm, wishing that justice would come spilling out. Thank y'all.
Woo!
Woo! Please give it up for KB one more again.
Yeah, gang, 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 gang.
Man, I really appreciate that feature. Thank you, sibling. thank you so much for sharing your story. And yeah, like I was excited to hear you spit, and your voice is so much better at reading your poem than mine is. So once again, please give it up for the lovely, the incredible KB.
Woo!
Gang, 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 gang.
As long as we sound like some drunk soccer hooligans to support the poets, that's what I care about, goddammit. That is what I care about. That's all I'm here for. So, in round 2, we're going to be reading the poems in this order. Colin, Esperanza, Silva, Nicole Tracy, Mai, and Kelsey Daniels. So, to get round 2 started, if y'all are ready, I'm going to say once again who are the first 3 poets of round 2. So in the hole is Silva. On deck is Esperanza. And coming up to the stage right now is Colin.
Can you hear me?
Loud and
We
clear.
hear you.
Mama says, boy, what you know about this? It means that she plays the exact same songs at every barbecue, every birthday, every wedding, funeral, road trip. Mama, I think I know a lot about this. My mother's playlist is a holy grail of R&B and gospel. A treasure trove of everything from Bill Withers to Kirk Franklin. She turns up the volume and turns back time, glides across the kitchen floor on beat to music as old as my grandmother. And her memory is still alive, if only for the next 3 minutes. And that's all my mother needs to perform a dance hall seance, a living room resurrection. My mother asks, boy, what you know about this? It means, boy, what do you know about my mother? She is asking if I can remember Granny outside of her death. She is telling me that everything she knows of my grandmother, she remembers through music. Grief is just another sad song. Each melody is a eulogy for a face we have forgotten. When my mother asks, what do you know about this? She is only asking not to be forgotten. She's asking to be held in every note of my favorite song.
Give it up for the poet. Thank you so much for sharing that very nostalgic poem. And so because we're in round 2, I guess I could let y'all in on a little bit of a secret. Berkeley Slam is not the only show that we do. You know how I know that? Because we got a show this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we got a show this Saturday, aka the Rich Oak Alchemy Open Mic. That is going to be hosted by, I want to say, our very own Nicole. So that's going to be lit. So just go to Instagram.com/RichOakAlchemy to get the information as to when you could come and sing if you want to, dance if you want to, do like do some drumming, play guitar if you want, like whatever floats your boat. It is not a poetry slam, it is a creative expression jam, and it's going to be hella fun. So come out this Saturday for the Rich Oak Alchemy Open Mic. We also have a writing workshop before the open mic, like we do with all of our shows. So go to that IG so you can stay posted. And now that I've blabbed my mouth for a little bit, I'm going to say that in the hole is Nicole. Ha 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 ha. I accidentally rhymed. Then on deck is Silva. And coming up to the stage right now is Esperanza. Woo!
Mic check.
You're good.
The sea, the sea, the sea. How unashamed she is. how unapologetically unbridled. She pushes and pulls, never tiring, how full of life and capable of taking it away. Puts up with crap, admired for her surfaces, feared for her depths, feared for her mercilessness, loved for how gentle she can be, how like a mother. The sea, the sea, the sea, not just what I hear, she is what I feel. I crest the hill and see her rise and fall, beauty that knows no bounds. You and I, we look at her, but she never holds the same shape for long. She can't be constrained to the few waves we glimpse, for they are a handful among trillions, if not more. We could watch for hours, or at least I could. But you don't see her as I do. She, a force as spiritual as God, as eternal and alive. She is reassuring as she is deadly. She is not the type for apologies. For her, every second is new. Turn too fast, get too close. She will consume you. Her power lies in forgetting, and you're underestimating. She will suck you in, no hesitation. Your body, a decomposing, battered, bloated thing. She will let you gasp for air only to feel the burning lack of it. She is momentum, built up yet self-contained most of the time. The sea, the sea, the sea. I wish I could be more like her. I am a woman born with bleeding as a birthright, associated with motherhood. Having a daughter used to be seen as bad luck, an ill omen, unfit to inherit titles or lands, too delicate for man's work, her name never her own, belonging to her father or husband, but by seeing the ocean, the beauty and strength that can be found in her. Most natural state of femininity, motherhood, a creator and sustainer of lives and biomes. I wish to have a daughter. I'm proud to be a woman, and in looking at her, I can better identify my own capabilities.
Woo! Give it up for the poet. Woo! Thank you so much for sharing that poem. And thank you, audience, for giving love to the poets. So our first poet of round 2 received the 28.1. Give it up for the poet. Woo! Okay, that's more. That's more like it. Judges, please be swift. Please be quick when it comes to giving your scores. It looks like it looks like we are moving along pretty damn well. So in the hole is going to be Mai. On deck is Nicole Tracy. And coming up to the stage right now is Silva.
Let's go, poet.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Both joke and riddle. Everyone knows the punchline, but no one can agree on what the punchline means. He did tell us, though, about the other side, why he wanted to go. He couldn't handle it on this one. Heard the grass was greener over there. We all heard it. He joked about his travel plans, almost made it a couple of times, but nobody thought he'd ever actually get there. Punch to strike forcefully with fist, line, continuous extent of length, often confused with line segment. The distance between 2 points. So how many segments of a timeline does it take to screw in a light bulb? I don't know. The flashbacks are still flickering. The trauma makes me forgetful, but never forgetful enough to start over, only enough to repeat, but I should already know what's black and white and dead all over again. Knock, knock, who's there? Not him. Just a poltergeist of who we used to be. We were supposed to do this together. We used to talk about our final words, promise they'd be got a blast, and we'd Jimmy Neutron ourselves into the sun like there is no escape, so why not make light of everything that's ever tried to burn us, like the cop I perform CPR on him, tries to calm me down, and surprise, surprise, she can't help me catch my breath either. Like the detective tells me she's recording my statement. And I ask if it's for my upcoming Netflix documentary. And they ask if I had any idea he would do something like this. And I say, well, got my period today. Missed my bus. The convenience store didn't have the kind of cookies I wanted. And I texted him saying this would be the worst day of my life. And even though he's clearly not much for follow through on his own promises, he was determined to keep at least one of us honest. And I'm so much of a comedian, they almost suspect foul play. But it was just like him, the chicken out on a pack like that. To make his birthday plans and died 2 weeks before. Like, if he didn't want to hang out, he could have just told me. Instead, he picks a cockfight, uses every dick move, jumps from 9 stories just to get the last word in, because what is a story but a setup to the epilogue no one reads? Aren't I just the pun no one sticks around for? The joke you've heard so many times you stop listening. Isn't it funny? The way my personality just made like a banana and split. I don't know which version of me I want to trust. The one that watched him cross the road, or the one still writing the joke book about it. I've been so much better at turning my pain into a punchline than I have ever been at holding space for it. I'm just sick of hearing that sky is the limit from those who don't believe me when I tell them it's falling. So maybe if I make it funny enough, I might actually be able to make it, because what is laughter but gasping for air? The ongoing chase of let me just stay here a little while longer. Isn't grief a jab that goes on forever? They say healing is non-linear, but all I see is this running joke I'll never catch up to, and maybe I'm not meant to. I'm so tired of trying, but I will not stop trying. I still fantasize about the other side. I haven't updated my travel plans or marked any dates, but I've started watering some seeds. The grass will get greener eventually.
Give it up for the poet.
Woo! Woo!
All right. So Esperanza received a 28.2. Give it up for the previous poet. Give it up for the previous poet. Hey, don't scratch me, buddy. Yo, this is Pops. This is my roommate's kitten, but he is pretty much the house's cat at this point. He is a ferocious tiger. He will shake the shit out of any and everybody. He don't care. I've never seen anybody more thugnacious than this person right here. So I just wanted to shout out the little homie real quick. But now that I have engaged in enough naganery, I will say that in the hole is Kelsey Daniels. On deck is Mai, and coming up to the stage right now is Silva.
Silva just came to the stage. Prophet. Silva just spit. What are you high? I love you, buddy. But Silva just spit.
Holy shit. I smoked before the slam, so it might be residual high. I'm in that weird nexus between not high enough and too high. So my bad. Wow, I have literally never done that before. So actually, I lied. In the hole is the end of the show and finding out who gets paid. On deck is Kelsey Daniels. No, I had it so wrong. Sorry. In the hole is Kelsey Daniels. On deck is Mai. And coming up to the stage right now. Please forgive me for this fuck up. But coming up to the stage right now is Nicole Tracy. Woo!
Mic check.
We can hear you.
It's okay. It's not the first time today someone's gotten my name wrong. Proof you exist. A couple signatures, an official stamp from the Los Angeles County Public Records, parents' name and age, time. 4 a.m. You became your own existence, but what time did you become your own identity? 7:30 a.m. On your way to school, your mother insists she knows you better than yourself because she birthed you. 9:30. Oh no, you have to pick demographics to fill in on a standardized test. 9:32. Is there a right answer? What if I choose the adjective instead of the noun? 9:33. What if I just left this one blank? 10:30. The test is over. The first question really is the hardest. 10:45. Recess with people you're supposed to have some shared identity with, but none of them look like you. 10:50. Friends are a reflection of ourselves, then this mirror is broken. 11. Another test. Math. Thank God. No chance to get adjectives and nouns mixed up. 12 p.m. Okay, so math isn't your best subject, but you'll pass. 3 p.m. Your mother reads off your test scores and posts them proudly on the fridge. 3:01. Would my English score be higher if I knew what was the noun and what was the adjective? 3:30. If you position two mirrors just right, you can split yourself in two. 3:31. What would one half of you say to the other? Would you apologize to the other you? 4. Your teammate points out you are the only one that doesn't have to spray tan to be ready for the competition. Half of you should laugh, but none of you finds it funny. 7 p.m. Family dinner, but nothing about you identifies as family. 7:30. You only just noticed TV is no place to look for representation. Where are you supposed to find it instead? 7:45. Pick up a pen and paper. Pretend you are someone else looking for a reflection that looks like them. 8 p.m. Realize adjectives modify nouns. You are a noun. 8:01. Write yourself as a noun instead of an adjective. 8:30. Share your discovery. 8:32. Your only critique. Are you sure you're not an adjective? Forget the rest of adjective fragility. 8:40. Throw out every mirror that pretends to show you who you are. Throw every mirror away. Keep the nouns. 10:30 p.m. Fall asleep pondering adjectives. Does a noun need an adjective? Google noun representation. Filter out adjective interpretation of nouns. No results. 11:30. Maybe noun representation is something I have to do for myself. 2 a.m. An adjective tries to modify a noun, tries to modify my noun. 4:01 a.m. You are your own identity.
Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Ooh. So thank you for sharing that poem, Nicole. In the whole, we have finding out who is going to be making some moolah. On deck is going to be Kelsey Daniels, but coming up to the stage right now is my
Can y'all hear me okay?
We hear you.
For all of my cohesiveness, you would think I could write a poem. For all of my cautiousness, you would think I tried to hide my queer. For all of my gayness, you would think I learned to store my memories under my mattress instead of my underwear drawer. It is 2 a.m. We are grave robbers. We are downing knives and kissing like the queer will pour out by morning. We will go back to pretending. Spoiler, it always does, and we always go back to pretending. We sit in a field, hiding from our own shadows behind bushes, learning the taste of our own fear and adrenaline. We pull dirt from the edges of a casket, not knowing it was my own. Still hollowing out my own body to keep surviving. The queer in both our bodies pour into soil and we dance in it. We are grave diggers, dug a hole for ourselves, called it a fulfillment. No, this is not fulfilling. We do not belong here. We do not need to pay for our funerals with our souls. For all of my queerness, you would think I would learn to weave a casket soon enough. For all of my deadness, you would think I'd have written my obituary by now. For all of my deadness, I could have written you a will in which I will give all of my love to you and all of my queer to the grave. I could have written 8 obituaries in which I am not the dead, but the birthplace of something so alive. It swallows man whole, where I am not a casket, but a cradle for the child I was. For all of my deadness, you would think I would have written my obituary by now. Instead, I make sweet love with a woman whose words I can't remember and whose name I can't forget. I weave cradles. I drink blades till my stomach bleeds out and wait for morning. It never comes. It is here in the field that we find comfort. In the darkness, it is here that we find comfort. In isolation, we have to go, so we leave the field. We are still the headstones. The memory of us will have to rest somewhere. Thank you.
Give it up for the poet.
Ooh, let's go, poet.
So thank you for sharing that poem, Mai. So the previous poet, Silva, received a 24.4. Give it up for the poet.
Yeah, poet.
That's what I'm talking about. That's more like it. So on deck is finding out who won and who ranked and is making money. But coming up to the stage right now is the final poet of the second round of the slam. Give it up for Kelsey Daniels. Woo! Woo!
So picture this. It's November 2020, shortly after JoJo and them won, yay democracy. And this white man tags me in a Facebook post thanking me and other Black women for being local Stacey Abrams. And Karen, that's her real name, comments, I want Black women to run this country and then I'll be at peace. So who's gonna tell her? Because clearly I don't give off unfriendly Black hottie enough and these white women still think I'm safe and not a grown titty woman whose areolas are not Felice. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies or nursing a nation. Ain't shit about me Secrets. Pamela, this pussy don't pop for platitudes. I know how quickly these compliments turn contract. Black women are not your anti-racism manuals or your gateway drugs to empathy. Unhand me, Caroline. I am Kelsey O. Daniels. The O stands for Olivia, but today it's oh, bitch, let me tell you, I have learned to say my name with oomph. Like it leaving my lips may be the last time it is drenched in a love that holds all of me valuable, no proof of utility needed. Riddle me this, Rebecca. Why does the intersectional feminism look like a one-way street? You have learned the language and left the lesson. You want Black women to run this country so you can punch up as if America hasn't been trying to run us into the ground for centuries. Oh, Susan. I know an op when I see one, and an uninspired one at that. If all you have to offer the world in your sister's failure is a pink pussy hat parade, what makes you think you deserve any rest? You're not even putting in the effort to drag me into servitude. It's giving delusional, sweetie. And even in this, I know that the most unsafe women listening are the white women who are listening and clapping and thinking this poem cannot possibly be about them, othering themselves out of their privilege and my oppression, those who pledge fake allegiance to my leadership as long as it does not make them uncomfortable. Because when push comes to shove, the data shows that all they will have to offer my movement is tears and symbolic gestures. I do not exist to be a Captain Save a White Lady. No Karen's backdoor work order against me shall prosper, girl. If I didn't run this country, I would be too busy reclaiming my peace to give a fuck about a Karen.
Thank you, poet.
That is for sure that on that. Thank you so much for sharing that fucking poem. Holy fuck muffin Batman. Judges, I don't envy y'all because it is going to be very difficult figuring out who won tonight's slam. And speaking of judging and scores and stuff, Nicole received a 27.9. Give it up for the poet. And Maya received a 27.3. Give it up for the poet.
Gang, 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 gang.
And while we are tabulating the scores for the last poet of the second round and figuring out who won this thing, I guess I could run my mouth just a little bit more to put y'all up on game about most stuff that we have going on, such as the Oak Town Poetry Slam that we do every third Tuesday of the month. It has been formerly of the Lucas Tap Room and Lounge, but unfortunately, as of yesterday, they have closed down permanently. Gentrification is a motherfucker. But yeah, it will be online for the foreseeable future, but we will keep you posted if and when that changes. But know that Oakland Poetry Slam is every third Tuesday of the month. It will be online this third Tuesday, and it is going to be fucking fire. So go to Twitter or Instagram.com/Oakland Slam or Facebook.com/Oakland Poetry Slam, and you will be able to stay abreast of this month's incredible show. Because, you know, Oakland is one of the most historically Black towns in the Bay Area. February is the most historically Black month. So it is going to be a pleasure to see and have y'all see what we got cooking. And speaking of upcoming shows, future shows, basically all of the month, we were going to be having all Black lineups for our features. So for Berkeley Slam and Oakland Slam, all of our featured performers are going to be Afro-American. That is going to be so dope, because last year we did that and it was amazing. I see that it's going to be just as amazing now. I see somebody made a reference to drinking gin in the chat. Nope, I was actually drinking rum earlier, but I do like to roll down the street and smoke Indo and sip on gin plus juice. That is no lie. So for the last poet of the second round, Kelsey, they received a 29.1. Give it up for the poet. All right. We could do a little bit better than that. Give it up for the last poet of the first round.
Let's go, poet. Yeah.
Give it up for everybody that touched the stage in round 1 and 2, please.
Yeah, let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. Party like a rock star, you know, totally did. I think we have our rankings. All right. So can I get a drum roll or something close to it, please?
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
All right.
Charge!
Let me do a hood drum roll. Coming in third place, we have Nicole. Would you like to say something?
Sure. Thank you, everyone. Come to the workshop, come to all the other shows. I will be using this money to get drunk on my birthday next week. But for now, I'm going to bed because it's 1 a.m.
Sweet. Thank you so much for sharing the stage with us. It is always a pleasure to see you. And we look forward to seeing you Saturday at the Rich Oak Alchemy Open Mic. And coming in second place, can I get another drum roll of sorts? Hey, Kat, you want to give me a meow or something? Don't shake your head no at me.
Yeah.
Second place. Second place is Colin.
Oh shit. Thanks. This money is going to the Real Rizzle Diaper Fund. So thanks everybody. Really appreciate that. See y'all next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Short and sweet. And coming in first place for tonight's slam, drum roll, is Kelsey.
Yeah.
Gang.
Thank y'all. I don't know if I was supposed to say something.
Only if you're comfortable.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. I'm down here in San Diego, really grateful to virtually be in community with y'all.
We are so grateful to have you in community with us virtually or in person. Thank you for coming. Thank everybody for touching our stage, all of the poets who rocked it in the first and second round. Thank you to our feature, KB Brookins. Thank you to all of my fellow organizers, our scorekeeper, our bout manager. Thank you to the person live streaming tonight's show. Thank you to our judges. thank you to the audience. Thank you to everybody, because without y'all, like, this would not be possible. I would just be a light-skinned nigga talking to himself. And yeah, like, I've seen those cats walking down the street. Like, they kind of scare me sometimes. So thank you for not, turning me into the strange light-skinned dude that talks to himself. And thank you for helping to create and cultivate this great space. Colin said, "You still a light-skinned nigga talking to himself." I guess technically you kind of right, but fuck you nonetheless. But to everyone else, we love and appreciate you and your support. And come rock with us next week, because next week we have Ariana Brown, of all people. Ariana motherfucking Brown is coming next week. So please stay tuned. Check us out at Berkeley Poetry Slam on Facebook, or Twitter and Instagram at Berkeley Slam for more info. I have been your host, Prophet. This has been the Berkeley Poetry Slam. And I say peace, love, and soul.